So a little while back, I did a video gushing about Batman vs. Predator. And in that video, I talked about how I wanted to do, like, my top 25 intercompany crossovers, or comic crossovers, or something like that. And I decided it's time to put up or shut up, so I racked my brain over the 25. I love a lot of crossovers. It was also really hard, and this list changed a lot. So here we are. This video is going to be a three-part trilogy for my top 25 comic crossovers. Now, this list can change and probably might, because I haven't read every crossover known to man. There are ones published for decades, and I haven't read them yet. There are some that are yet to come, like the Street Fighter TMNT crossover or the Marvel Ultraman crossover, that are still a thing. You know, that are still a thing. There's also sequels that I haven't read. Yeah. So, with that in mind, as always, if you think I couldn't get every crossover on here. There's hundreds. So if you think a crossover should be higher or lower or not at all on this list, that's totally fine. No problem. This is just my personal list. So just keep that in mind. And as always, tell me in the comments below where you guys stand in terms of these crossovers. So let's kick this off with part 1. And I think for part 1 we're going to do 25 to 20. That sounds reasonable, right? So here we go. So first off, at number 25, we have TMNT Ghostbusters. TMNT Ghostbusters made a lot of sense, and it was a crossover when it was said that IDW had the rights to Ninja Turtles and Ghostbusters. We were all kind of assuming that this was going to happen. It was like the perfect crossover to happen, right? Like Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles, they're both in New York. It's 4 people with very distinct personalities. Of course it was gonna work. Like, of course it was gonna, it was gonna do numbers. And even though, yeah, it did do universe hopping, it's still fun. I haven't read the second one. It's been hard to find. But the first one is a banger. It's a legit fun story. It's an original villain. It's a fast-paced story. And the Ninja Turtles and the Ghostbusters, it's a perfect matchup. When Ghostbusters and when this got announced, I didn't see anybody angry about this. Like, why is this happening? It was more like, finally this happens. Like, it's one of those, holy shit, we're finally getting a TMNT Ghostbusters crossover. Because it's a bunch of New York boys meeting. Ghostbusters in deal with supernatural stuff. Ninja Turtles deal with supernatural stuff on occasion. It just made sense on so many levels. So, yeah, TMNT Ghostbusters. Next up is a forgotten one of the DC Dark Horse echelon, and that is Lobo and the Mask. So Lobo the Mask is a 2-part, balls-to-the-wall, completely fucking crazy comic in which Lobo and the Mask fight each other like goddamn violent Looney Tunes. Like uber-violent Looney Tunes. Like, it's just complete and utter madness. That's all I can really say, is that it's just wild, wacky madness. And that's all it stays the whole damn time, is that it's just insanity. It's just utter insanity. There's cutaway jokes, there's slapstick. It's just, like I said, it's just utter insanity, and I love it. So, Lobo the Mask, yeah, I was all in on this one. So, next up is, we're going back to, this will be the first of many Batman crossovers, because Batman gets to cross over with everybody. And at number 23, we're doing another DC Dark Horse, because there are a lot of bangers in that one. Batman Aliens. Batman Aliens is just... it's another 2-part story that you think wouldn't work. You obviously know, and if you guys have known the video, you probably know who number 1 is, but, like, you would think, like, and yes, I had them all written down, Batman Aliens, you think for like it would not work. Like aliens should not be on Earth. That makes no sense. And they did do a crossover that made more sense. Eventually, like there was a crossover that that had more that made more sense with Alien. Two others, Superman and Green Lantern. But yeah, Batman and Alien is a lot of fun because it's Ron Mars and Bernie Wrightson, and this is one of the few times we get to see Bernie Wrightson, the creator of one of the creators of Swamp Thing, and a horror icon writer, do his work on Alien and Batman. And let me tell you, the finished product, Bernie Wrightson's finished product, yeah, and it plays as a horror comic. It's straight up a full-on horror book, and it like they play with it. Yes, it is Alien it is the Xenomorphs on Earth, which I don't think anyone really likes, and it's Batman, who you would not think should be confronting the Xenomorphs, but it plays like such a great story, like a great comic book of Batman dealing with this unknown entity. And you could really feel like Batman is Ripley here. Like it really does feel like Batman is Ripley, and it's brutal, it's violent, and it really pushes Batman to the edge. So, yeah, this one was a lot of fun. This one, if you haven't read Batman Alien, I don't know where you can find it. The DC Dark Horse Presents comics are going out of print, so if you can find those, grab them, especially the Alien books if you can, or go digging in lawn boxes. It's a little difficult to find. I will say, though, that Batman Alien 2 is garbo. Like, I haven't read it, but all intents and purposes have said, yeah, Batman Alien 2, it's garbage. It's straight garbage, don't bother. So I find that, so yeah, I don't think I'll be reading if I find it, I'll maybe read it, but like, I haven't been like actively looking for a second Batman Alien crossover, because I feel like they got it right the first time. Next up, there's gonna be a lot of DC Dark Horse books, guys. We're just gonna go through a whole line of them. And next up is Superman Madman Hullabaloo. So Superman Madman is a 3-part book written and drawn by Chuck Allred, who most of you guys would know is this fun pop artist. It's almost like a very like 50s style, almost Andy Warhol kind of style of art. Superman and Madman's a character I've never read. I've never read Madman, and I am like, it's not a character I want to read, but it is like it looks like a fun character. Superman, it's a fun, almost heartwarming story, and where Superman and Madman get smashed together by an unseen force, which you can probably figure out who the villain is of the story. If you can, like, the moment you read this, there's like, oh, I already know, because they don't reveal him till later. But yeah, if you know, like, judging by the just Superman and Madman, like just meeting and having a conversation, yeah, you're gonna figure out who the villain is real quick. Anyway, so going back, going back to Superman, we got another one featuring Supes, and that is Superman Aliens. Superman Aliens, it was a crossover that definitely was another, like, it shouldn't work, but it makes a lot more sense because Clark is out in space and he encounters the alien, and they had a great tagline too. It's just the S with a chestbuster going through it. It is a great story of Superman dealing with the whole I won't kill. It's very much Last Kryptonian. Clark is dealing with a lot. He's losing his powers, and he's fighting for, fighting against an alien life form that is just built for killing. It's just, Superman is put against insurmountable odds everywhere he goes. Yeah, it's a lot. Like, it is definitely It's a great story. Again, I haven't read Superman Aliens 2. I haven't heard that one's bad, but I am curious of reading it. Yeah. So Superman Aliens, great. Absolutely great. Next up, at number 20, we're going to go out of the DC Dark Horse books. That was just a slew of DC Dark Horse, I know, but they make some really good ones. DC Dark Horse made Magic in the 90s and 2000s. Fucking sue me. So, next up at number 20, we're going Dynamite... We're kind of going Dynamite Dark Horse. And that is Grendel the Shadow, or Grendel versus the Shadow. Grendel is a character I've read some of, but I want to read more of, but I don't know where to start. I think I might want to pick up one of the omnibuses, especially the Hunter Rose book. If you don't know who Grendel is a author/criminal mastermind. And in here, he time travels back to the 30s and encounters the Shadow. And the two play... It's not a team-up in any way. It's just Grendel's the bad guy, he wants to take over New York, and the Shadow is like, fuck you. And they're out to kill each other. It's a great cat-and-mouse game, and it's perfectly paced for 3 issues. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you're not a big Grendel person, this gives you like a nice crash course. Like, hi, I'm Hunter Rose, I'm an asshole, and I'm a criminal mastermind. There you go. And that's all you need to know for Hunter Rose. So there you go. For shits and giggles, I guess I'll do 2 more, because it is like 25 and it is a big list. So next up, I know I said 5 through 20, but I was like, I feel like I can do 2 more. It's my video, it's my rules, right? It's my video, my rules. Anyway, so next up for number 19 is Batman TMNT. Yes, I know it's a little low on the list, but hear me out. This was a really fucking hard list to do, okay? And I'm just gonna lump it like it's the entire trilogy. I know I was saying like the whole book, but just one book, but the whole trilogy, the whole Batman TMNT trilogy is really good. It's a really solid story, and it led to like merchandise, toys, an animated film. Did anyone think that we would get show of hands, did any of us at any fucking point in our lives think we would actually get a Batman Ninja Turtles animated film? Like, really, did any of us expect that to be a real thing, of a Batman Ninja Turtles animated film and be good? So Batman Ninja Turtles deserve to be on here. And I know it's a little low, but again, just because it's on this list and there are hundreds of crossovers. So yeah, the fact that it made it... The reason why it's a little lower is because I feel like it does go a little Bat God at some cases. I really do feel like it suffers from Bat Godism. The whole trilogy suffers from Bat Godism. So yeah, and it does kind of make the Ninja Turtles look like jobbers at points. So that's a bit of a problem for me. So at number 18, this is where we'll cap off things, is Star Trek Transformers. You're going to see a lot more Star Trek on here, because there's some really good Star Trek crossovers out there. Star Trek Transformers, and I was racking my brain over which Transformer crossover I wanted to use. Terminator was good, and the MLP ones are fun. Back to the Future is actually surprisingly good. But the reason I went with Star Trek Transformers was it could have gone so many routes. It really could have gone so many different routes in its entirety. But what it chooses to do is basically... It literally just does fun. It's the 80s cartoon meets the Star Trek animated series cartoon. It could have gone so many routes, but it instead just says, fuck it, let's have fun with this crossover. And the art style commits to it, the dialogue all commits to it, and that's why I really love it, is the Star Trek Transformers crossover just commits to being fun. And sometimes you just want a crossover to be like that. It's just fun. So, yeah. So there you go, Star Trek Transformers at number 18. So, there's the list so far. You guys tell me in the comments below. What do you guys think of this list so far? Do you guys like it, hate it? Comment below, let me know. Once again, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.